Who.
Hello, and welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Yeah, watching for the very first time. Okay, that was different. That was different.
That threw me. Very first time.
Oh no, what a way to start a new season.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, okay, we'll work on that. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. It is season 10.
Woo! Ooh!
Yes, we got there. Double figures, finally.
Gosh, can't believe it.
Yeah, beginning of a new series. A little bit of an update. I've just had the jab, my booster jab. So this is funny because you always get jabs and stuff before me, and we're recording and you're like, oh, I might be a bit tired or whatever, because I've had like the Time Monster, you're like, I've had my booster, I might be a bit tired, and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, and everything. And then it comes to me and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I can't believe I made you do the Time Monster.
This is the story of my life, Mark.
I cannot believe you did the Time Monster. And I was like, what do you think of it? And you were like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, I know how it feels.
I mean, yeah, because I felt really ill, so I did feel ill, whereas you've not felt ill, but you have a sore arm.
Oh, my arms were... Actually, I've been a little bit temperatury. I've taken paracetamol, but it's worse than I thought it was going to be.
My arm was the same. My arm was really sore, and it wasn't as bad as the first time, but I did feel I had a bit like a night of it. I was feeling it the next day, but like, phew, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it was Time Monster for you. It's 3 doctors for me. It's my jab story.
Yeah.
My first vaccine was Fury from the Deep. I can't remember which yours was.
I don't have a clue.
You had yours a bit earlier on, so we should write down our jab stories just for memories.
These are the jab chronicles.
Yeah, exactly. What other updates have I got? I don't think I've got anything else at the moment.
You were talking about Neighbours earlier.
Oh, I can't remember what I was talking about. I was going to say about Neighbours guy, about the VHS for our regular listeners. No, all I was going to say was that he's still messaging me.
Right.
Every day.
Oh,
I hope he doesn't listen.
Hi
but no,
there.
he said now, his message, he's like, you've got until the end of the year. I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Or what?
Exactly. I know. I have started transferring these VHS tapes. I will send them to him. It's just been really busy.
Honestly,
and I haven't done it. But anyway, he's giving me ultimatums now, and I'm like...
I would honestly, Mark, I just be like, hi, I'm really sorry. I've been really polite. Like, I've been really patient. I'm really busy. You are not. Be patient.
I know. He's really not patient. I know.
I just block it.
I will send them. I've been getting through them, though.
Yeah, but it's like...
Anyway. This is not a Neighbours podcast, so...
No, it's not.
Sorry. I can't remember that. There was a reason. It was linked to something. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, you said you'd tell me later, but this is later and you haven't got it.
No.
Never mind.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Anyway, okay, let's get on to today's story, because it's a very exciting one.
Yeah.
The 10th anniversary story. The 3 Doctors. And here we are at Unit HQ. It's lovely,
right, yeah.
Lovely...
Sorry.
Yeah. We're getting into it. Lovely day here, lovely. Holy Moses! What's that? These jellies, they seem to be springing up everywhere. Over there.
Yeah.
And over there.
Yeah.
And over there.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought that was a good one.
Okay,
right.
sure.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jellies everywhere.
Jellies everywhere.
They kind of made me laugh at jellies.
Yeah.
Because the costumes are kind of good and also kind of bad. I couldn't work out where I sat with them.
Okay, well, we'll get to them, but it's the 3 Doctors.
Yeah.
So, 3 actual Doctors. The return of Patrick Troughton and a bit of William Hartnell. Were you ever expecting something like that?
So it had come up as in, like, it had been mentioned that there's an episode called The 3 Doctors.
Yeah, I think Mike said that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
So in that sense I was. But I don't know what I was expecting in terms of the story or anything. I knew at some point it would come. I didn't know when. And also, obviously, you told me that this episode was called The 3 Doctors last time, so I knew it was going to be about the 3 Doctors.
3 Doctors, yeah. 10 years of Doctor Who. We have.
God, don't I feel it?
And what a way to celebrate. Yeah, I mean, this one is... Well, I think it's quite highly regarded, obviously, because you've got Patrick Troughton back. And you've got William Hartnell, his last sort of... He died like a couple of years later, so it's his last thing that he ever did.
Yeah. Oh.
So it's so nice to see him back. I have been harsh on this one in the past.
Okay, interesting.
Talking about this one.
Interesting.
So I'm going to try and be nicer this time. I'm going to be trying to be nice. Only because it's more of the production values that I was harsh on, not the story. Because in my mind, it's the 10th anniversary story, the opener of the season, and you've got not very good monsters. It looks a bit cheap. Why don't you put all your budget in to make this an epic sort of story? So, but it is a good story. So I won't be as harsh as I have been in the past on this one.
Well, I really enjoyed it.
Okay, great. There we go. That's a good start.
So that's a good start. Classic 4 stories. I love a 4 story. They're my favourite.
4 episodes, nice and short.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Sorry, 4 episodes. Yeah, it was all there. I followed it.
So we've watched this separately.
Yeah.
So that is a surprise to me that you like this one. I thought you would, though.
Yeah.
It's got Patrick Troughton in it.
So, although, ironically, he annoyed me a lot in it. I didn't feel that this Patrick Troughton doctor him being this doctor felt like when he first came as a doctor.
Okay, yeah.
More than what he developed into as a doctor.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit more of a memory of what he was like rather than being how he was.
Yeah, he felt really like... he kept going on about the flute. That's what he did in the first few stories, you know. We got beyond that by the end when I loved him. And he was very sort of like, well, I can't explain it. Not panicky, but kind of like a sort of attitude.
Well,
I can't think.
Well, compared to the Third Doctor... Maybe just the comparison, he does seem a bit more silly.
When I think of Patrick Troughton's Doctor, I think of he's very on it. He was quite serious. Did have jokes, but it wouldn't be like this. It felt very much like early Doctor of his reincarnation compared to what we ended up with by the end.
Okay, yeah, a little bit less serious.
Yeah,
in a way. Yeah,
in a way, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas this Doctor, and actually it's quite interesting to see the development of this Doctor, because this Doctor's almost gone in the same way. He started quite flamboyant and silly in all the costumes and, you know, that first story. And then where we are now, actually, he's not as angry as he has been.
No, Third Doctor, no.
No,
he's more settled in now, and this is the Third Doctor that I'm more comfortable with, rather than he's not the Dick Doctor.
No, we have a lot of Dick Doctor in the first appearance time.
He's not that season 7 early.
He's not that.
He's changed a lot, and this is his 4th year.
Have we not had this is the first time?
First Doctor did
3.
Sort of 3.5-ish.
Ish, yeah.
Second Doctor did 3. So, he's going to be here for a bit.
Yeah.
Let's go through the story, me points and my notes.
Yeah.
And we'll see. So part 1, we start off, your classic Doctor Who at this point, your local farmer.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere, Mr. Ollis.
We're in England. So, saw that again, sorry. We're in the UK, we're on Earth.
Yep.
Classic.
Farmer's wife, Mr. and Mrs. Ollis. Do you think they're friends with Sam and Meg? They've got to be.
Oh, maybe, yeah, definitely.
Farmers of the week.
I could see that, yeah.
Absolutely. So, or, you know, if this was an anniversary story, it could have been Sam and Meg. Wouldn't that be cool to bring them back?
Cute. Yeah.
They could have done that.
Yeah, they could have.
That would be cool. And there's this weather balloon, and off he goes into we don't know where.
Yeah.
And it's a unit story. So we've got Dr. Tyler explaining the problem of the week to the Doctor and Joe and everything, and he's got these X-rays, which sets up the story, sets up the mystery.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool where you see the faces in the X-rays and you're like, oh, what's that? There was a bit of a coffee moment, very slight coffee moment, where the Doctor stirs he asks to bring a dig, and you pass that and he just stirs his coffee for it. It's still there. You still get those moments. We're all here for the tea and coffee moments. They don't pass me by now. And we get, I've put Mr. Blobby is after the Doctor. That weird, shaped blob thing.
Oh, yeah.
He's creeping around and everything. What do you think of that?
What, the weird light thing that they've created?
Yeah, that thing, and it comes out the drain, and
yeah.
Joe and Bessie.
I thought watching it, I was like, I reckon at the time, people watching this would have been like, whoa, that's so cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was new. They were trying out different effects and things, aren't they?
And so for that, I I give them the credit of giving the a go. I don't think it was the most effective thing, but this is 2021 Sarah speaking on that.
Yeah, and you've got the Doctor and Joe in Bessie, and it zaps
Not
Bessie.
71.
Zaps
Sarah.
Bessie out the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. And then, we go pretty much into jelly time.
Yeah.
And I see, this is me trying not to be harsh, but they're not the best monsters. We've had so much better monsters, and if you're celebrating 10 years of Doctor Who, I just think, come on, what?
So look, okay, we've talked about the monsters and the hit and miss. It must be hard as a costume department to come up with monsters every week. Now, at some points they seemed quite effective.
When?
Like when you see them up close and you got the detail, when they're moving, not so much.
No, that's the problem.
So when they first start appearing, I mean, they look so abstract, so unusual. I was like, oh God, that looks cool. And then once it started moving, I was like, oh.
No, that's the thing. Maybe
because it even did the
close-ups
still. Where you could see sort of the detail.
Oh, it's amazing detail on them, yeah.
But then when they moved, it looked like someone just put a sheet over someone.
Yeah, and they were just walking along. Someone's put a fiberglass over someone and they're wobbling along.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I just think,
But up close and the detail, and when they're still, I was like, I'm buying it. Like, because their first appearance is just them appearing, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And also, we've just had the weird light thing. So in comparison to the weird light thing, these were cool, and then they moved. And I was like, they look like penguins. Or they walk like penguins.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
They're
they do.
penguin-esque.
They do, don't they? And
with guns.
and we've got...
Oh, do you know what? Like, it's like Wallace and Gromit, the penguin, but he's... I don't think he has a gun. Oh, he does have a gun,
No, he does have a gun,
He does have a gun, yeah.
And we get, new TARDIS set, and your dreams have come true. We have Benton in the TARDIS.
I know.
And later on the Brigadier.
I know.
Finally.
I was so excited when the Brigadier went into the tower and they're like, come in. I was like, yes, at last. And then you get that sort of like, that surprise. It was everything I expected and wanted.
Finally.
The whole reactions from all of them. Benton's was as I expected. The Brigadier's was as I expected. I was very happy with that.
I'm not sure why Yates isn't there. Maybe just wasn't available for that one. Which is a shame. And when then we see the Time Lords as well. We go off.
Yeah.
We're getting a bit of everything here.
Yeah.
So the Time Lords are as we saw them in the War Games, or whenever we saw them last. And then they talk about to send in the other doctors for help, and that is cool. So what's happened is there's this black hole or something draining loads of energy, and they're like, from the Time Lords, and they're like, the Doctor is the only person that can save us. We can't send him to help. Let's send him the other doctors. Yeah, and then you see, okay, let's talk about Patrick Troughton then coming back in colour. It's really cool. It's
really cool seeing him in colour. I mean, we've only ever seen him in black and white, really.
Where did you spring from?
Now, don't tell me. Corporal Benton, isn't it?
Sergeant Benton now.
How do you do, my dear?
Nice to see you.
I haven't seen you since that nasty business with the Cybermen.
Also, having Benton there that remembers him.
Exactly.
And
you need
it works so well. It works really well.
But then he's sort of arguing with the Third Doctor and they don't get on, and you have all that bickering and stuff. It's great. It's just really good fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
It must have been amazing at the time. And the Doctor and Joe are zapped at the end of episode 1 by the blob thing. Obviously, the Doctor runs out. Joe goes after him, of course.
Of course.
What do you think of Joe's outfit, actually? Let's just do close watch with her furry...
Oh, yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I don't have a bad opinion of it. I don't have a good opinion of it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my opinion of it.
Okay.
We've had worse.
Okay.
We've had more unexpected from Joe. It feels of its time.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see the First Doctor, don't we, in episode 1? He does his little... So it's a shame, with the First Doctor, he comes up on the scanner.
Yeah.
Right, doesn't he, and everything. So
also in colour, that's cute.
Colour. And he's obviously not well at the time, so they did write it with him properly in it.
Yeah.
But he was so ill that he had to record his stuff on his own. He's just reading off cue cards, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a shame. It's so good, though. Again, I was harsh. I was like, well, not harsh. I was like, if only if only he was there or just did one scene just standing with them, it would be amazing. But we're so lucky just to get that.
Oh, yeah.
And he's totally back in character when he's like shouting at them and he's like not having any of it.
Whereas Patrick Troughton's isn't the same. He definitely is the same.
He just goes straight back into it, doesn't he? Even though he's not well and he's just reading his lines, you just know he does that grumpy and cross it.
Now, what's a bridge for, eh?
Well, crossing?
Right. So stop dilly-dallying and cross it.
Like he goes straight back into it. And it's so good to see him.
Also, I like that he is the fountain of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. It fits as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, he's the older man, but he is the one that's well, come on, he knows.
Yeah.
He knows. And that was his doctor.
Yeah.
His doctor just always had the answers, always knew.
My only criticism would be you don't get to really properly see him. I would like to... You've got the scanner. It would be cool if they sort of cut to full screen to actually see him properly.
I guess that
would have been really nice to... Yeah. Because you don't really... I just want to see him a bit clearer.
Maybe there was a reason for that.
There probably was. There probably was. And I've always wondered, have they got that foot... it's not come to light. It's not come to light. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to actually see that footage properly. Full screen, just to see him. Because he did a... They did a lot of publicity. It was on the front of the Radio Times. They did a photo shoot with them together and they did a press call and they were all there in costume. And, wouldn't it be amazing just to see those three there? And what do they talk about?
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I've never seen... There's photos of it, of them all laughing and, together and outside doing but I've never seen any, video footage of that or anything.
I mean, now that's the norm, isn't it?
Now, you'd have that and you'd have them maybe talking, interviewing and them... I just love to see them interacting.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. It's just if only they could have... And what did William Hartnell... Actually, I think William Hartnell did do an interview and he said he didn't like the Third Doctor and how it had gone. He didn't like any of the unit stuff. I'm pretty sure he did.
The First Doctor
he did
have a
say
lot in
something
common.
like that. He did say it's changed so much since I did it. He was he was not my Doctor. William Hartnell would have been on Twitter being like,
He's so weird. He's so weird.
not liking it, but he's obviously proud to come back and do it. And I'm so glad he did. And I don't think I think they tried to maybe get Jamie and Zoe back.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is why maybe Benton and the Brigadier go off. Because I don't think... Well, actually, one, I'm not sure if they were available. And two, I don't think John Pertwee wanted to be the star and he didn't want anyone else coming in, taking over his show. If they were all coming back, I think it was a bit... That would have upset him. He was a bit like that, I think.
Right. Interesting.
But it's a shame. It would have been cool to have Jamie and Zoe and you could see how that worked. Or was it Dr. Tyler goes off?
Yeah.
I think you could easily swap out if you had a Jamie and Zoe in the narrative. But no, it's still... What we have is amazing and we're lucky to have it.
I'm just happy that if that was the case, that it meant the Brigadier can't
but then the Brigadier is a bit silly in this. In a way that he's a bit more comedy. Compare him to early on. He's with the chroma and... him and the second Doctor and he doesn't believe the face and he does all these sort of double takes and stuff.
But that makes complete sense because he's completely out of his comfort zone and actually, he would be, and I think it plays into this narrative of it being a special episode.
Now see here, Doctor, you have finally gone too far.
I rather think we all have. What's it like out there?
There's sand everywhere.
Oh, splendid. Who's for a swim?
Yeah, because I suppose the Brigadier is so much part of it.
Yeah.
As well.
He can sort of play into the element of the novelty of it, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it's a novelty thing, isn't it? It's very novel.
Yeah. And we have Doctor and Joe in the quarry of antimatter. They're just running around a quarry in this antimatter universe. There's some nice good camera angles. They sort of slant it.
Yeah.
Lucky they've got Bessie to drive around.
I know. I liked having the random crap just be there. I thought that was fun.
That looked really cool with the bench and stuff out there. It's very alien and interesting.
It set the scene. It set the scene very well.
It did. Did you watch this all in one go?
No, I did 3 and then I did the 4th one.
Well, that's pretty good.
I would have done them all. I wasn't sure if we were watching together.
Okay,
and then
right.
because we weren't, I then watched it.
End of part 2, I think the whole unit... I put Unit Lab gone. There is the cliffhanger with Unit flying through space.
Yeah. Because it just takes over the whole building.
Yeah.
And that's when the Brigadier walks out. He walks out to TARDIS, walks out, and he's like...
Where are you? Yeah. It's
but also, the Brigadier is a man that is he is the king of his kingdom, which is Unit. Nothing here can be explained. He has no control over it. The person, like the doctor, who he knows he has to rely on, is the one in control of it. And that probably frustrates him. I think it works really well. It's just as I expect it to be.
What do you think?
Oh, it's just as I imagined.
What do you think of the Blob Palace, I call it?
It feels like something we've seen before.
Because there's sort of the circular doorways are obviously
Doctor Who thing.
they're obviously designed to be the shape of the blobs to go through, and the walls are the same sort of material as the blobs. I think the idea is that they've grown from these.
Well, they're from
his mind and everything.
But I feel like we've seen that set before. Maybe not with the blobs on it, but I mean the arches, these sort of archways, classic Who. You know what I mean? Like,
from the 60s.
That is like a 60s set that they've just put some like blobby stuff over.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly what we'd expect.
It's a little bit cheap for me, that's all. It's just a little bit...
Well,
it's a bit Christmas grotto, isn't it?
But we've got used now to like a lot more location stuff and, you know...
Well, yeah, but you think every season it should get slightly better. There should be some...
Well, you'd think.
A bit more.
But... I don't know, there's something about it. It's got like a novelty to me.
It has.
And which fits with, you know, these previous Doctors coming back and this sort of, I don't know. It has a sweet novelty.
And we have Omega.
Yeah.
We find out about Omega. So that's, you know, a bit more history of the Time Lords.
I liked that. I mean, like, you know, he annoyed me, but I also...
Well, it's the same...
He didn't annoy me in like you're like so annoying. It was like a purposeful annoyance.
Well, yeah, he's a big baddie.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And he's the same guy that played Azal, the demon, with the big legs. It's the same guy and the same voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they always get him in to do the big booming.
The big boomy, yeah.
People.
Yes, you're completely right.
So, yeah, you find out about that. And, I mean, again, his palace isn't epic. It's okay. Oh, see, I can't help being harsh on this. I don't know why. It's a fun story. It is.
Is it because you just want more?
I know, maybe my expectations for some reason are just really high for this.
For anniversary things.
Yeah,
but maybe this is before it was a big deal to be an anniversary thing.
It was. They were like, what should we do for the 10th anniversary? I know, let's just get the Doctors together.
They probably sat there and like, oh,
look,
it's been 10 years. Oh, okay, let's do that.
It would have been a story on its own right if you didn't have the other Doctors.
And it probably only had the budget to be a story in its own right.
Yeah. What do you think of Dr. Tyler, who's sort of wandering around? They're all sort of... And then you've got Mr. Ollis wandering around the quarry. Yeah, they just pop up every now and then, don't they?
Dr. Tyler was really annoying. Like, you know when he was like, I'm going to run away? I was like, why? You don't know where you are. You literally, like, out of anyone here, you've just, like, you know... Jo, for example, when she first went to an alien planet, was very like, okay, cautious. You literally have no idea where you are or anything. You've been like captured by some blobs, like, and you're like, you think that you can overpower this situation. Like, I was like, oh, you need to shut down and shut up.
Well, he's a scientist, so he's excited. He's like, oh, I'm in the antimatter universe. This is amazing. I need to investigate it. And that's a nice attitude. No, but he's annoying, yeah. No, I do know what you mean.
I agree.
Poor Mr. Ollis, though, wandering around being like...
He's been there for ages. He's been a loner for ages as well. He went, like, right at the start of episode 1.
I know. Oh, and do you know what? On the Blu-ray, there is a bit of a documentary, and they reunite Mr. and Mrs. Ollis, like, only a couple of years ago, and they hadn't seen each other since they filmed that. They're both, like, really, really old now, and they're like, oh, it's so nice to see them together again.
Did they, like, were they like, oh, hi.
No,
is it awkward or is it nice?
No, it's nice.
Okay,
it's nice.
Because, I mean, ultimately, they do not spend a lot of time together.
No, they don't.
I mean, they have one scene together.
Yeah,
it's at the end when she's telling him off. So,
it's like 50 years later, here she is.
Do you remember that one scene that you had with that man? Here he is.
It's like, this is your farming life.
Here's your husband. You had one scene, but you did like 5 lines together.
Yeah.
If that.
I know, it's nice though. That's nice. Reunite them all. That's what I say.
Who.
Yeah, oh, definitely. They are a couple of who. Then you have the Doctor going all into the dark side of the mind, and he fights that thing, that creature.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Maybe there was a few to Omega just talking scenes because the Omega looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks great, but there's no mouth moving. There's nothing. So he's just standing there in a mask and then listening to him. And yeah, the voice is very commanding and interesting, but there's maybe a few just standing around talking scenes.
Actually, it didn't bore me as much as I expect. I think it's because I was learning.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it provided a lot of context to the history of the Doctors. And that just adds to it's another layer to the cake. And I like a big cake.
Right.
So, you know.
The cake of Omega.
Well, no, the cake of Doctor.
The cake of Doctor, right.
It's a Doctor's cake, isn't it? And we get more and more layers.
I suppose we do, yeah.
He's an ever-growing onion. I don't know what, they have layers, don't they?
He's an ever-growing onion. What?
Well, onion. That's a whole
He's an
Shrek
onion.
joke, isn't it? Onions have layers. Have you watched Shrek?
Yeah.
Right. And he makes that joke. He's like, onions. Yeah. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. So it's not my terrible.
So Omega has layers.
No, I'm saying this is more knowledge about the Doctor's history.
Doctor history and stuff.
It's a Doctor's cake. It's another
Because
layer to the Doctor cake.
He got the power source for the time travel.
Yes,
Yeah.
that the Time Lords have. And then we learn that he's actually part of their whole history in some way.
Yes.
So, I enjoyed learning this other side, maybe to the Time Lords. I'm sure timelines will be useful.
My favourite Omega moment is when they lift up the mask.
It's so cool. So
And they're
actually,
like,
let's just talk about all the effects. I feel like they didn't have a lot of budget. I reckon they had their standard budget, but they were trying to make it as amazing as possible.
Yeah.
They threw every single bloody effect that they could at this for the time. Do you know what I mean? Like things disappear, things randomly appear with the weird light source. That, with his green screen head vanishing, is another
it's a great
one.
moment.
Yeah.
Where he takes it, but then even in the story, when he realizes and that pained cry that he does,
that annoyed me actually. The cry.
That is just because he's power mad.
Yeah, but
and he's been there so long, he's eroded away, and just when he realizes he can never leave, and he does that cry, isn't that a really powerful moment?
No. Maybe it was, but for me, it felt like a real backtrack because we've had it in this like, rah, rah, and then all of a sudden he's like, and I was like, I thought he'd be angry rather than just cry.
But then he does go angry.
Yeah, but that's not his immediate thing. I thought he'd be like, what? And then be like thrown into anger and then...
He's been in he's in prison for so long and he's like, finally I can go. And then he's like, oh, actually I can't. It's that...
Yeah, maybe it's because his whole way up to it, he was just angry about even going... Like, he was always trying to be like, no, you'll do it. And he's like, and they're like, well, you have to do this. He's like, no! And like, I don't know. I just found that scene all a bit odd.
He could have imagined better things than the jellies.
You got to do what you can do. Like, you work with what you got. You got your resources.
And there's lots of... Everyone's in Bessie driving around this quarry. Mr. Rollis, Dr. Tyler, all the unit and Joe, and they're all going around driving around Bessie.
Little did they know.
That's so funny.
Little did they know how much, like, Bessie would be useful when the blob brought it up.
Well, exactly. Yeah, just running around. Something to do with the Doctor's recorder, because he's going on about his recorder all the time.
Yeah.
And I know you found that. I find that annoying, and that's part of it. They beat him at his own game. They do a trick, and he drops the thing, and it's all over very quickly. It made
sense when you see that the recorder is this, like, thing, why he's been referenced
why he's been
in it
talking
so much.
I think maybe they could have done that slightly different, a bit more subtle.
Yeah,
maybe.
I agree. But it makes sense when you see it, because and you're like, oh my gosh, we got over this. We'd moved on from this.
Yeah. And they all say goodbye walking through this smoke.
Yeah. Again, they just wanted an effect, didn't they?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know.
We'll have smoke and we'll have people disappear through smoke. Like, I think they just had no budget and they're like, what can we do with what we got?
Here's a bit of smoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the Doctor gets his freedom back at the end.
Yeah, and I loved it.
And we have a new TARDIS set, so off we go.
Yes, that was really exciting as well.
Look, they've sent me a new dematerialization circuit. And my knowledge of time travel law and all the dematerialization codes, they've all come back. They've forgiven me.
Yeah.
Again, though, I wish they'd made more of a thing of the fact that he's like got his freedom back. He's got his that's a massive. We've had 3 seasons of him stuck in Earth, and it appears, and he's like, "Oh, they've forgiven me. Oh, and all my things are back. Okay." And I was like, "That it? Like seriously?"
Well, I mean, he's done some other missions as well before. It's not like he's been on a, he's been on.
But like he's been for 3 years. Ultimately, this has been his thing. Has been to fix this one thing to get off. And it's like, I thought like I'd have liked more even with the Time Lords. I'd have liked it for Time Lords to come and said something like, "Thank you for everything you've done."
Here
like,
it is. Yeah.
More of a gesture that way maybe as well. Because they've come before.
Yeah.
That one in the top hat appeared.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know where he came from. It's a surprise, they didn't have the Master for an anniversary story, but I suppose that would have been too much.
It would have been too much, I think. I mean, like, it would have been cool, but I think it would have been too much.
Who's your standout character then in this?
Third Doctor.
The third Doctor?
I think he's really good in it. You just know that he knows...
He's the lead. He's definitely the lead.
He's definitely the lead. He knows it, and he has these great moments. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I really appreciated how much he's grown.
It's a good one for Jo as well. She does quite a bit.
Yeah, she's also a little bit neat. Like,
well, that's her now. That's her now. She isn't that needy.
Like, it annoyed me that
sacrificey still.
I know, but it was like, she just can't leave him alone.
No,
that. Like, she even ran out and then ends up on this other planet. She could be dead.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, I'm dead." Like, I'm just like, "Come on, love."
And then right at the end, she's like crying because she thinks he's dead, and then he comes back, and she's like, "Oh, you're like, yeah."
And then she's even like, when he's like got his thing back, she's like, "Oh, so you're leaving now?" I was like, "Come on, love. Like, you are more than this." And I know it's exciting, but you are more than this man and moment.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, isn't it? It's just she's so fixated on the Doctor.
Because actually, when Jo is like peak, I think of like when she was a queen.
Yeah, on Peladon, yeah.
On Peladon. That was like peak Jo. She was amazing then. And she like was with the Doctor supporting.
Yeah, but she went off on her own and did her own thing.
Whereas this one, it was very much like, "No, my Doctor, no." Like, I don't know. Like, when he says like, "We're staying," she's like, "No." And I was like, complete breakdown. It's like, come on, it's beyond you, love. And I know you want to be with the Doctor, and I know you want to like...
And Benton does quite a bit.
Yeah, Benton's got a really good, cool, calm head on him with it.
Yeah, I'm still not the biggest fan of Benton. Yeah, and it's nice to see... I liked Jo interacting with the second Doctor. I thought that was nice.
Yeah. And there's that moment when she's like snapping and like, "Come on, there's 2 of you." Or he says that actually, Benton's like, "Well, there's 2 of you, surely." Like, I thought he was really good on this, Benton. Considering this again, he's only a unit soldier. This is not his norm.
Exactly.
This is not his
they've seen
world.
enough stuff, though, haven't they?
Yeah, but they've never been in the TARDIS and they've never been to another planet.
You think they would have been in the TARDIS by now?
Well, you'd think, but, maybe he keeps it locked. But he's never been to another planet or experienced that.
No.
He's doing what's like what he knows is an unknown, like his world, and he handles it pretty well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he's like, "Well, we'll listen to what the Doctor's saying." He's like, "Okay." Whereas, like, bless him, the Brigadier's having his complete crisis of self.
Like what's going on here?
Like, which I think is just his character. Like, of course he would, because he's in charge. And everything is out the window. So what do? I love that he got, what's his name? The farmer.
Ollis.
I love it. He was like, "You do as I say now." Like, he has no control, but he can control this one situation.
Yeah.
He can control what this man
lead.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved that. I was like, that is exactly what he would do.
Well, it's a really good opener then for this season.
Yeah, it is.
I'm so glad you liked it.
I really enjoyed it.
I thought you would, though, because it's got the other Doctors in.
And it's 4.
Yes, exactly.
I love a 4. Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, this couldn't have been a 6. They've just been running around the quarry for a whole 2 episodes,
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't they?
It would have been terrible as a 6. Or even a 5. What it was enough, and it worked. It was perfect.
My absolute highlights is seeing William Hartnell, though.
Yeah.
Out of all of it. It's just whenever he comes, when you hear that do-do-do, you're like, "Oh, he's on the screen. Quick, everyone, gather round." Oh... I
just enjoyed seeing all 3 of them. Just their interactions together. Once it settles,
Well, that's a fairly short discussion, really. What else to say? We just really enjoyed it. I was a bit harsh, but
It's usually
no,
my job.
I do enjoy it. It's not, I don't know, it's just not in my, like, top stories for some reason.
Interestingly, I'd watch that again.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, if that came out in, like, some weird special thing, I'd watch that again.
A weird special thing.
I don't know.
Edition.
They love doing that, don't they?
Well, I've got the season 10 Blu-ray, so I can watch this on Blu-ray now.
So, I mean, not right now. I've just watched it.
Okay.
But, like, you know, I could watch it again. I enjoyed that one.
Wow. That's quite rare for you to say that you're going to watch another again. you know.
Only happened with Marinus, so...
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, it's not my favourite. My favourite Third Doctor story is in this season.
Ooh, okay.
It's coming up soon.
Okay.
I'll let you know when that is, but it's not this one.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's a sort of middling one, I think.
Okay.
Well, I don't think there's anything else then.
No.
Onwards through
Onwards
season 10.
and upwards.
Onwards. And the next story is 4.
Oh, yay! Sorry, that sounded really insincere. I was really excited. I think my voice cracked and it made it worse. Yay!
Yay! The next story is 4, and it's called Carnival of Monsters.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
So what are you thinking?
Not on Earth. Woo! I don't know. Different monsters.
If you don't see Unit or the Brigadier, are you going to miss them? Have you had enough of all this Unit stuff?
Yes. See, okay, in my ideal dream world now, they would, like, the Doctor would have the base of Earth, like, in Unit, but he's not working for Unit, so he goes on these adventures, and with that, sometimes, you know, Yates or Benton comes along, and then sometimes the Brigadier just ends up stumbling in by accident and goes off on one with them too. That would be, like, my ideal for, like, a season.
Okay.
So I'd have, like, a season where, you know, basically, I don't know, it might be some sort of, like, well, learn about the universe, come back, and it's, like, a fact. But the whole point of the TARDIS is he doesn't know where it'll go next. So we can't really go back unless that's been fixed.
Well, I think he can control it.
Because he hasn't been able to for the last, 7 prior to him being stuck on Earth, whatever it was. That was the whole thing, wasn't it? He had no control.
Yeah. We'll see if he has control or not.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Like I said, if he does, that would be a great development of just being able to be like, I don't know, maybe it's like some sort of like new, okay, we'll go and learn about these universes, so if anything happens, we have more knowledge, that sort of thing. And every now and then, I don't know, he stumbles on, like, to ask a question and then he ends up on an adventure. I'd enjoy that.
Okay, so you still want them to be around?
Just one more season.
Okay.
I think I just want one more season to sort of tie those characters in and keep it going.
Okay. Well,
to then
very
end
exciting.
it.
Yeah.
To then end their time. To be like and this is what's happening next.
We're so used to those Earth adventures now. It took us a while to get into them, and now it's just...
Yeah,
like,
I feel like...
If you go back to, like, the 60s where it was all, like, alien stuff every week.
I know. And, like, I've just had enough of Earth Adventures, but I'm not done with the... I'm really excited at those characters now having experienced the TARDIS,
Something
experienced
else. Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And they're not, like, just one-off characters. The characters that we've known for a while, you know, we've sort of grown with them, and for the last, 2 years, 3 seasons, you know, not our years, but their years. So, like, although sometimes it feels like it.
Yeah, because, like, Unearthly Child was 10 years ago.
And boy, don't we know it.
How much has changed in Doctor Who since then?
Colour.
Colour's
huge.
10 years ago, they were running in that studio with people throwing twigs at them.
I know.
And now they're running through a quarry with blobs after them. It hasn't actually changed that much, has it?
Some things haven't changed.
You know,
some things
haven't at all.
But some things are quite drastic. I mean, once over, they'd have had to build everything. You know, everyone. And now, I mean, green screens changed a lot.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had... Omega's taken his mask off and stuff.
You wouldn't have had any of that. Oh, you would, but it had already been built that his head was missing in some way.
It would be somebody, you know, like with an extra... with their head underneath where the shoulders are.
What was the one that had, like, their eye and a mouth?
Oh, like a monoid.
Yeah.
It'll be the monoids.
It'd be monoid style. So, like, you know... I think the technology in that sense, even though it's not now the technology we have now, but, like, that has advanced so much.
It Imagine like William Hartnell having the script and be like, right, there's Time Lords, there's Omega,
I know.
Unit, Bessie. The Doctor's got a car called Bessie now. Imagine
a
William
very
Hartnell
thing.
being like, what?
I think he'd enjoy that bit.
I cannot imagine the first Doctor driving around in Bessie.
Can you not?
No.
I kind of can.
Come on, Susan. In you get.
Yeah, I kind of can.
In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2watchwho. Thank you very much for all your comments. And you can also support us at buymeacoffee.com/2watchwho. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Watch who?